All right, hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back with a special episode of the Tag Cast. So we've been doing, I think, for the entirety of the Tag Cast, or just the VGF podcast for Tekken that I've been doing. Have always been like the character specific stuff, and this is the first, at least Tekken related episode that I'm doing that is not a character specific thing. So pretty excited about it. Might open up some doors. So if for some reason there's a lot of lag in between the character episodes, I can maybe fill that up. Or once they're done, eventually that well runs dry. So we'll see what we can do. But with that being said, I am of course Scott, aka Xiang, on the boards, and my guest for this episode has actually been on the podcast series before. He was nice enough to come on and do Zafina for the T6 podcast. And with that, I will introduce him. Sith Lord, what's going on, man?
How's it going?
So like I said, pretty excited to do this. For everyone listening, we're actually going to be talking about combo vids and what goes into that, and all of the different variables and facets of that. I guess you could call it that niche element to the gaming community. So I guess before we start, you were already on the podcast before for one of the character ones, so you gave us a background on yourself. So since we're doing completely different topic, not a character thing, I guess we can still start there. Like, what got you into to the combo vid world, and what made you sort of passionate about it and keep going with it?
Well, first off, thanks for having me back. It's been a while.
Yeah.
What actually got me? It wasn't a single event that got me into it. I think it was just as I got into Tekken and online in general, and I started seeing what other people were doing. It was back during Tekken Tag, the first one, and the internet was getting real big back then, and I'm seeing people like, and I had no idea who these people were because I'm just getting online and playing the game, and I'm seeing people like Dohee Kim and Castell and something called KYSG, and they're just doing stuff that blew my mind. And as time went by, I through lots of playing in the arcade, and finally when the PS2 came out with the game on console, you have more time to kind of mess around with it. I started finding stuff and things like that, and that's just kind of what made me want to throw my hand in the old ring. You know what I mean?
Yeah, nice. I'm glad you mentioned Castell, because he's he doesn't I don't know exactly, I don't know him personally, so I don't know what his life like is, or sorry, what his life is like or anything, but he's kind of been hidden in the shadows for a while. Doesn't post a whole lot anymore, but he used to, I don't know if it's still there because I'm actually not a premium supporter anymore, but on TZ in the premium member, one of the little perks that you got was like a whole, or access to like a whole section of videos.
Oh, yes.
And there were a lot of combo videos. And I remember, especially for T5, like that's when it got really hot. Because I even know that he was bringing on guests and stuff to do the gameplay. And then he would like cook it up and edit it. And he was really, really good at editing that stuff and being really creative with it. But he hasn't done that in a long time. But just before I forget, for those who don't know, your YouTube channel is actually Emperor Jigong, which I'll put links up to everything that we're talking about afterwards. But just so I can sneak that in there so people know where to find all your videos. So, all right, well, I guess so. Now that we have like a little bit of a background on the combo video thing. Now, when you first started, I guess let's start with like the I don't want to call it the infrastructure, but like the foundation of a combo video. Like when you're making these, like what goes through your head? Where do you start? How do you even decide to make one?
That's a good question. Ultimately, inspiration is, at least for me, I can't speak for everybody else, but for me, if I'm not inspired to do one, whether it's a brand new game or a game that's been out for like this game, Tekken Tag 2, it's been out for about a year now. If I'm just not feeling inspired enough to want to sit down and torture myself going over stuff over and over and over again, trying to research other people's past works to make sure I'm not copying or doing stuff that's too similar, blah blah blah. I just won't do it. Period. If I'm not inspired, it's not happening. But how do I find that inspiration is actually kind of a good question. Sometimes it can be through somebody else's work, which occasionally happens. Other times I'll just be messing around like in a match and something weird happens and I'll go, hey, what was that? And I'll go into practice mode and next thing you know, I got a whole page of stuff written down and it just goes from there. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. So that actually leads me to a really good question that, I, for the most part, I've done it like way back in the day. I want to say like tag and T5. I made a couple of combo videos myself, which have long since been lost in the annals of the internet. But
that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate.
Yeah,
I don't mind watching them.
But my next question to you is sort of like what sort of combo videos do you prefer? And that seems like a loaded question, sort of. So I do want to be a bit more specific because when you look at a combo video, like back in the day, there used to be, it seemed like there were just a couple of main themes that went into a combo video. Either you were going for max damage,
yes.
Whether it be, just straight up max damage or just frames or whatever, max damage, that was your theme. And then the second one is doing very high technical combos, like just frame everything. Like there's not a single sloppy move in the whole combo.
Yeah, I know what you mean. No margin for error.
Yeah. So now with that, for you, do you like to do a combination of those, or what's your bread and butter? Like what sorts of videos do you like to, or combos do you like to focus on?
Now, are you asking me like what I prefer to put in my videos or what I actually like to watch?
You know what? Why not both? Let's start first with when you make them. What kind of combos do you like to use?
Okay, when I'm more or less doing a video, I like to put a little bit of everything in a vid because I don't like focusing on one aspect of the game. For example, like you said, max damage. If I do a combo that's max damage off of a hop kick, okay, that's one combo. But the sky's the limit with certain launchers. A hop kick might be a bad example, but say a high launcher as an example, or you have different sweeps and different stuns, and you can get all kinds of cool effects with maybe a clever sidestep or maybe just taking a little bit of a back step or a collision, or take your pick. And I like to express that in different ways with different characters. Especially in this game, you have all kinds of different characters that you can use to tag in and out, to do your tag assaults and so on and so forth. So gotcha. Max damage is good, high damage is good, but I'm really ultimately about creativity, and originality is, I would call, my bread and butter.
Gotcha. And I'm glad that you said that, because that was going to be my next question. Because I noticed, like with Tekken, I want to say Tekken is fairly unique in the fact that it has so many different, at least now, it has so many different variables that go into a match, because you have not just walls, but you have breakable walls, you have breakable floors. And then for a long time, there's been a little neat trick for a lot of combos, or at least in combo vids, that you see where you intentionally get hit in the middle of a move.
Collision. We combo artists tend to call them collisions.
Yeah. So the ones that give you extra frames.
Well, it can give you it can give you extra frames. It can give you that recovery during a launch. It can make you recover standing while an opponent is crouching. It can. It's something I do exploit regularly.
Well, I was like along those lines. I want to ask like, what are I don't want to say. Well, actually, let's throw this into a two-parter. What are the most like difficult ones to set up?
A collision?
Well, collision, or like if it's breakable walls, or angles, or whatever it may
Oh, well,
be.
that depends on what you're trying to do with the combo. If you're, how do I explain? It's kind of hard to explain without showing, like having something set up on the game so I could like walk you through it. But certain combos were like wall rape, where let's say I'm gonna wall splat you on this regular wall, and then I'm gonna do a quick sidestep and then some dashing hits, carry you over to this breakable wall. I hit you. If I want to say like on the Tekken Tag 2 practice mode, where it's got the breakable wall, the floor, the balcony, all on that one stage, you can set up that, but it takes spacing, it takes timing, and you have to know which moves can recover fast enough during, say, the wall break to sidestep yet again to carry them to the balcony, and so on and so forth.
Now, what do you think is the most creative, like potentially speaking, like what aspects of the game like do you think give you the most potential to make a combo video? Like, is it the walls, or is it I don't know, like the collisions that you were talking about? What's your favorite part, like favorite functional element of Tekken that makes combo videos?
Actually, if I'm gonna get specific, it's actually the character that will.
Interesting.
Yes. For example, there's some characters I'll go through their moves list and I'll mess around with them, and I just don't feel it. But with other characters, I feel like the sky's the limit. I don't know why. It just comes to me. I can take a character like Wang, and I see all these moves, and I go, oh, I can do this and this and this, and then I just kind of start applying them to walls and collisions and different tag symmetries with other characters.
Nice. That it's funny that you say that, because I was gonna ask you, just browsing through your videos on YouTube. I don't know if this is intentional or not, but it looks like you're almost doing a checklist of all the team possibilities, and then doing
you mean all those clips I've been uploading?
Yeah.
Actually,
so all those, yeah, go ahead.
That's just me kind of messing around, and I've been asked many times by some of my peers and my combo artist friends and things like that to do a combo video. I haven't done one in a while, and the reason is simply I haven't been inspired, and I'm not going to do one until I'm inspired. But having said that, I'm actually am working on something right now. I actually found some inspiration. So I am working on. I can't tell you what. Sorry, I'm sorry. I will say this. I'll give you a little bait. On my YouTube channel, I have a video called Sloth. It's based off the 7 deadly sins, and sloth is one of the deadly sins, and it's actually the second deadly sin that my combo team has done. The first one was pride, and it was edited by a buddy of mine, Super Ogre Killer. Anyway, I'm working on the third sin video. I can't say what the title is, because a clever person will probably figure out what the concept might be, and I like surprises, so I'm sorry, I can't tell you. I'm really sorry.
No, that's okay. We got little teasers.
Yeah, but I am working on something. I do have stuff recorded. I don't have a date yet when it's going to be out, but I do have some stuff recorded. I do have somebody else. I may as well say his name. Ogre Killer is supposed to send me some stuff, and then I'm gonna montage it all together. I've already got the song picked out. Everything's ready to go. I just have to get the stuff recorded. I've got some stuff tested, and I just have to kind of figure out what I want to do with it. Who do I want to use with the tag, and do I want to add a wall or whatever?
Interesting.
So,
now, I wanted to ask about another element of the like of combo videos that at least recently doesn't seem to be like a big deal in your combo videos, but I still want your opinion on it since obviously you have a lot of experience in the combo vid community. So when it comes to editing videos, now do you? I guess there's a few different questions that can come out of this. Do you have? Do you like it when people do like music video sort of things and try to time clips or try to interweave it with the music or do anything of that nature? And do you have anybody who do you think is particularly good at that?
Let's see. Do I enjoy it when people edit the music into their combo videos? Yes, absolutely. In fact, I have the highest respect for people who do that because it is you're trying to make this combo video into something else. Ultimately it's a combo video and the combos do the talking, but when it comes to things like replay value, you're rewatching it, you can get other aspects of this. You can it's hard to explain. It's like watching a painter, you see different paintings and their style, and some of these people that do this, you can kind of get a feel for their style. And I do it myself. I edit the music relentlessly, tediously into my videos because I want people to kind of go in there and try and figure out why I'm editing the music the way that I do. Now, from time to time, I'll just use a regular straight up song and it's just there, and maybe there's no clever editing, maybe there is. That's up to you to try and find. But for those who are keen enough to find some of them, it's not a coincidence. It's there intentionally. So,
gotcha. Yeah, and I asked that question because like at least the couple of videos that I made back in the day, that was almost the more interesting part of the whole thing. Is like I would get this set of combos that I really liked and thought would work, and you sit there and you hash it out and see if you can get all this stuff to connect. But like putting it together with a sort of a soundtrack was really, really fun.
It can also it can be also very frustrating trying to find that perfect soundtrack to your basically it's a montage of combo clips.
Yeah. And like especially once you start tweaking it and doing like real editing, and this was one of the things that the reason that I mentioned Castell earlier is for this reason, because when I would watch his videos, that's what he would do, and he was really good at it, adding extra video effects to it, slow-mo, whatever, what have you, intersplicing clips and whatnot. Like I was just blown away at how professional he would do that. So mine weren't all that good, to be honest with you, but it was just really enjoyable for that part. Like you said, you compared it to a painting, and it's a lot. It's very much like art. You're putting it together, and at the end, you're going to get this grand picture.
That's kind of what I'm going for. I consider Tekken. When Namco makes a new game, it's like this beautiful blank canvas. This is all the stuff that they're giving you, and the system's tools are your different paints and things like that, and your imagination is the brush. Mm-hmm. To put it, one way.
So, with that, to kind of build off of what you just said, I do want to ask, like, over the Tekkens, kind of the history. And you actually, I know that you dabble in other games as well. But do you think that it's gotten easier to be more creative? Or, I guess that's the wrong way to phrase it. Do you think, like, the quality of the combo vids and the potential has increased with each game that's come out, or do you think they've kind of limited what you can do?
No, I think at this point, it has gotten. You have more potential to be creative because you have so many more tools. You can mess around with the wall breaks and the floor breaks and the tag assault system and or you don't even have to use tag assault. You can just use really technical, as many tags as possible in your combos or whatever it is you're looking for, and you can add these different elements of the system. There's a couple resets in this game and some glitches that you might be able to throw in, and there really is a lot of variety to explore and see what you can kind of make out of this, and that's really fun. Frustrating, but really fun.
Gotcha. So, I'm glad you mentioned the glitches, because that, along with a couple other things I'll mention, kind of, I want to say make combo videos a bit more unique than, just regular gameplay footage, because, like in tournaments, you can't exploit that stuff, or they're really rare, or whatever it may be.
Don't say you can't. Don't say you can't. You do occasionally, at least you do occasionally see something combo video, like, like I saw Rip actually get a collision once with like his lost sliding kick, and he went straight into a combo like it was no big thing. I was just like, dude, you're the man.
Yeah, that's what of course separates the top players from the average players, their ability to just adapt to that so quickly. But before I ask a more specific question regarding that, I do want to ask, like, just generally speaking, when you have all of these aspects of a combo video, to you, what makes a good video? Like, what separates a good combo video from a bad one?
Well, ultimately, I don't want to say bad. Well, because being sitting where I'm at, I know what it can involve. I don't know how long what somebody did, or how many hours of sleep they lost, or whatever, trying to get this presentation. And maybe it's well received, or maybe it's not. I would really hate to use the word bad, but to me, what I look for and what I would call a good combo video is, first and foremost, originality. For example, let's pick an obvious character. Let's just say Kazuya. Kazuya's been around for a long time. Every time a new Tekken comes out, people want to see how many electric wing god fists they can get, and does his counter hit down forward 2 to electric when Godfist still launch, yada yada. It's relatively straightforward thinking. If you see that kind of thing in every single Kazuya vid, it's not original. So to me, when I kind of start to see that in somebody's Kazuya vid that they just released, and it's been out, this game's been out for a while, I kind of go, okay, it's not exactly original yet. Ultimately, that's what I look for, is original. I also enjoy creativity. I like max damage. I like technical input. And then the research of, say, the system. If they find a glitch, or if they find a reset, or an infinite, or something like that, always high marks. Because when you do something like that, when you find something that, how do I say it? When you find something new, it's not making the impossible possible. That's not exactly the case with combo vids. What you're really doing is making the unthinkable thinkable. When you do something that no one's thought of before, you're opening doors for other artists and even players, if it's some hidden property or some move or something that, maybe it just went overlooked for a certain amount of time, and you were the first one to discover it or show it anyway in a combo video. You know what I mean?
Yeah, gotcha. So along those lines, with when it comes to glitches and bugs or move properties, I do want to ask your opinion about that, as well as the whole programmable stick portion of that, because I know KYSG is famous for that.
They practically invented it, I think.
Yeah. I mean, they're super creative, and a lot of that creativity revolves around perfect timing, perfect input. So to make it easier on themselves, they use the programmable stick.
Oh, don't be careful when you say make it easier on them, because I've got some stories for you from those guys. I actually know some of those guys.
Okay, well then let's actually just go with it on that then. Like, what's your opinion about that, and what's their opinion on that? Since you know them, like, how does that fit into the whole experience of creating?
Okay, well, so to be clear, I mean, I don't have a programmable stick. It would be kind of cool if I did, but like anything else, and from what I understand, you have to learn to use it. You know, I don't think you can just hand somebody this stick with the extra button, with the extra program button, and go, well, all your problems are solved. Here you go. You still have to research the game. You have to develop a sense of the game so that you can exploit the system, find the bugs, find the glitches, find the way of making what was previously unthinkable thinkable. You know what I mean? So when it comes to guys like KYSG, yeah, they have programmable sticks, but it doesn't mean that it's going to take them 5 minutes to make a combo video. I guarantee you, it takes them a lot longer than probably most people would think possible. And I'll even give you an example. I actually did a couple interviews with those guys, and that was one of the questions I asked them was about their programmable sticks. And guy, his online identity is Deep Theater. He's pretty well known in the Tekken universe. Yeah, he actually referenced one of his combos in Tekken 5 with Nina in my interview, and it was a, let's see, it was like a six-hit combo. He said it took him 5 hours with a programmable stick to get that. 5 hours, one combo.
Now, what was like the difficulty with it? Like,
if you remember Tekken 5, if you remember Nina, if you timed her down in both kicks or stomp when they as they were falling off the wall, if you did it just right, I'm leery to use the word just frame, but it basically was a just frame. It caused this stun on the ground. It actually had similar animation to Kuma's Dance of Death. If you ever hit somebody with that on the ground, it caused this little... They kind of writhed in agony on the floor. It's the same thing with Nina's stomp, and he ended up getting like 3 or 4 of them in a row after hitting him on the wall. And it was just a regular old, he hop-kicked him on the wall and stomp, 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 stomp. And you just saw him just kind of rolling on the floor, and they couldn't get away, and he just kept stepping on them. It was kind of cool. 5 hours. Programmable stick. So to me, when I think of a programmable stick, I don't think of, well, this is easy. I don't think of, well, they didn't do it manually. I think of hours and hours and hours of research that these guys had to do to come up with this presentation. That's to me, that is what KYSG is all about, presentation.
I'm glad that you say that, because my favorite combo of all time of any combo video I've ever seen was actually a KYSG combo. Is the original Tekken Tag, and it was done with a programmable stick, but it's with Heihachi, and it's electric Death Fist, and it is so simple,
yeah, I know
and yet so sexy.
Macro combo, yes, from 5 to 8, yes.
Like, it's so ridiculous and awesome, and it's very straightforward and simple, but I don't know, those sorts of combos.
Fast. Bam, bam, bam. Yes, badass.
Well, and that's why, my favorite combos tend to be those ones that are like the just frames, because it's more than just a just frame. Like, yes, it's a programmable stick. You have to use a just frame, but at the same time, you have to understand the system well enough to know that all of those would even hit. Even if you could do it perfectly, you have to know that is possible.
Yes, and yeah, I remember. Oh man, back in the day, this brings back memories. Back in the day, we're all huddled around the arcade, and we're all playing tag, and those of us that weren't playing tag were always talking about like the matches or whatever, and that's when people started talking about like, oh, did you know that you could get say I don't know, like 4 dark uppers with Armor King kind of thing, and I'd be like, how do you guys know this stuff? And they'd be like, oh, I saw it in a vid online kind of thing, and then I'd see guys like 538, he'd do like some launcher to four to a kick and shit like that, and it's like, oh my god, can you imagine getting this in the game? And the way that it just gets your gears rolling, and whether you ever land it or not, to me, that's, it's there, it's possible. It makes the unthinkable thinkable, and it's a great presentation for the imagination.
Now, I want to, along with that, I do want to ask, do you guys ever sort of get, what's the best way to put it? Like a challenge sort of thing going between each other? Like, hey, here's X move. I want all of you to try to get the best combo or make the best combo that you can by using that move, or like having that move in there somewhere. Do you guys ever do like little challenges like that?
I am trying to rethink countless conversations online about combos and vids and stuff, and
I guess if you want to, you can sort of address the more general question there. How do you guys interact when you do that? When you brainstorm, or do you even brainstorm with each other? How does that process work?
Back when Team Ace was kind of doing its thing, that was my very first combo group. We would occasionally do that, and it would be like after we watched like some new KYSG vid or something like that, or Master and BossCon would put out some ridiculous thing, and we would occasionally be all sitting in a chat room talking about it, and occasionally brainstorm, share combos and stuff like that. But as far as hey, do this move and let's see how many hits you can get or max damage, I don't think that particular way of doing it ever came up like that. That does kind of sound fun, though.
I'm wondering, just for kind of shits and giggles, if sometime we should get, a bunch of you guys together, since now that we have this, streaming, and be like, all right, guys, we're going to do a contest, get a bunch of people to tune in, and then kind of make a game show out of it,
that would be fun.
Okay, do this, best combo wins, round one, go. That'd be pretty funny.
The best way to do something like that, though, would be to do it on a brand new game, because most of the tricks of the trade have been kind of figured out now, or at least for this particular game. Mm-hmm. But that is definitely that would be kind of a fun thing to do. But can you imagine the embarrassment if you're having a bad day, you're just not getting feel for this move, and you're not recovering fast enough, or you're getting your input in fast enough? Fuck! You can just hear people getting frustrated. I mean, we're human. We make mistakes.
Yeah. Oh, it'd be interesting. But, it's one of those things where, if you, not to overuse the metaphor, but, if there's a painter, a speed painter obviously goes about it a little differently than somebody who takes, months and months to create work. So I did want to ask you, real quick though, if we're talking about all this different stuff that goes into a combo vid, is there anything that you consider, I don't want to say cheating, but something that do you think is kind of
off limits or taboo?
Yeah, like subpar, like why would you shouldn't be using that in your combo video or whatever it may be. Is there anything out there like that?
Let's clarify that. For what kind of a combo vid are we talking about? And because, for example, I told you I like to put a little bit of everything in my vids. Mm-hmm. If I can find a max damage combo that I feel has never been discovered, I'll stick that in there. If I can find a technical ender to a relatively known idea, I'll stick that in there if I think that it's worthy enough to be seen by my peers and my audience and whoever just happens to stumble across it. Let's say, I don't want to stick in, say, a normal, regular staple, because that's not what I do. That's not what I'm about. And I know a lot of the people that I particularly follow and watch and am subscribe to, they don't usually do that kind of thing either. So the only real, I guess, taboo thing per se is doing something that is extremely easy and has been known for ages, and you're showing it anyway. Unless you've got some reason for showing it, like because of this easy setup, you can now do this, which we didn't know was previously possible, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. So for you, it's like bottom line seems to be originality. If it's something that everybody already knows, it's kind of a waste of time.
Ultimately, and try not to, when you can put anything under the microscope and you'll find something wrong with it per se. I try to keep something in there. If it's not exactly 100% original, then maybe it's just, in my opinion, a creative variation or a difficult variation or something like that, depending on what I'm trying to do in whatever video we're talking about. So, but ultimately, my main goal is originality. So,
Gotcha.
and then that, I got to say, that's not easy. It's not easy. It really isn't.
Oh no, I can't imagine at all. That's one of the reasons that, at least for me, when I did my videos, like I don't have a programmable stick. I never have had a programmable stick, so it was all just me. And I'm fairly decent at technical execution.
I knew what you were trying to say. Oh yeah,
I mean, I'm okay, and given enough time, I can do pretty much any combo. Like the down forward 2 to electric that you mentioned with Kazuya. It's notorious for how difficult it is.
13 frame, perfect electric execution.
Yeah, so I mean, and that's a combo that I can do, but it might take me an hour, to do it. So instead of like focusing on, I don't want to say creativity, but rather than trying to be the best when it comes to technical combos or creative combos, I liked throwing in that music video and the background music that I mentioned earlier, because it felt like you could still do stuff that was creative or maybe a little lackluster, but you could still make it interesting by sort of weaving it into this presentation, like you mentioned earlier. But I did want to ask, now that T2 has been out for a while, 2 questions. One, who's your favorite combo artist out there right now? And then what's like your favorite vid or combo that you've seen?
Oh wow. I don't have a single favorite artist. I have so many. Most of the people I'm subscribed to are combo artists, and if I'm subscribed to you, it means you're doing something right, and I enjoy at least something of what you're doing. Obviously the KYSG guys, obviously, I mean, those guys are just incredible, all of them. And I don't know if a lot of people know this, but there's actually more than just 538 and Deep Theater. I mean, there's GUC, he's there, Morimoto, and Kawasuo. They all have their own separate YouTubes, and they're all KYSG, and they all do great work. I'm obviously a big fan of my buddy Ogre Killer. He does great work. There's people everywhere that are good. We've got up and coming guys who don't have a lot of exposure from all over the world, and there's people that have been doing it for years and years, and they're still putting out quality work. So I really can't say I have a single favorite.
Now, does your answer change if I alter the question for all time? All time?
No, it's
best.
Most of the guys that I guess all time it would probably still be KYSG, but I'd probably throw in Master and BossCon and Castell and Tony T. I really liked Dohi Kim and the IS team. I don't know if you ever watched those guys from Tekken Tag, the first one. Those guys were fucking unbelievable for their day. Yeah. As far as my favorite Tekken Tag 2 vid, I'd rather give you I don't have a favorite per se, but I do have maybe a top 5 or a top 10.
Sure, yeah. Throw it out.
I would say as of right now, my personal favorite Tekken Tag 2 videos would probably be something along the lines of the uh, the multi-character project by Deep Theater, the two videos by Morimoto that he did. He's also in KYSG. Um, Deep Theater and TMD's video, badass. Ogre Killers Triple S, badass. And I don't know if you know this guy. He's from Japan. His same. He did a King video, and it just blows my mind. The instant shining wizards that guy gets, good lord, fingers of fury, man. There's a bunch. The main man has done some good ones. Golden Eggs has done some great stuff. I mean, it just goes on and on.
Gotcha. Well, since we're kind of talking about all these different combo artists and everything, I do want you to talk a little bit more like in depth about your interviews that you did. Now, kind of give us a background on this. Was this like just a interviews you did for like a certain time frame, or are you like continually building to that or building on that?
Okay. Well,
and before you start, I will let everybody know we'll link you guys to the interview so you can read them yourselves. Because I mean, there's a lot there. So of course, I don't expect you to like give us what do you want to call it, a script or.
oh, that would take forever.
Yeah. But yeah, like how did this start?
I don't remember the exact event that made me kind of start doing this. I just remember at some point, and as I'm trying to think back, it was probably talking to my brother, who is also a fellow Tekken player, and he's also online, Spinal Villain. It was probably one of the many conversations we had that kind of sparked. But I had this revelation that I was in a unique position, that I knew a lot of background information and obscure facts, things like that, from talking to these guys and reading stuff over the years, that I thought maybe the masses in general probably didn't know. So I actually approached Deep Theater privately about it. They were my guinea pigs. 538 and Deep Theater both agreed to do a submitted questionnaire, formatted strict each for them, and Deep Theater actually took both of them and then sent 538's his, and then they came back to me, and then I put them on Tekken Zaibatsu, and from there I decided to start talking to other combo artists like Tony T and Toby and Master and people like that, to try and bring out some of the obscure facts and random trivia and things like that that a lot of people might not know about, or maybe they just wanted a little more information about maybe some of their favorite combo artists back in the day or currently. So that was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun.
And then you just do you plan on like continuing to do that, reach out to guys, or
I
just
was
kind of stop from
I was afraid you were going to ask that. So when Tekken Tag 2 came out, I wanted to do group interviews, and I did one with all the KYSG guys except for one guy, Morimoto, he's kind of a recluse, so all right. But I got everybody else to answer some questions tailored to them. But as I was researching for other interviews, I kind of noticed that a lot of combo vids aren't really being watched. Not nearly to the scale that they were in Tekken 6, and even more in Tekken 5 and DR, and then even more in 4, So I kind of felt like, I could do this and I could do this work, but it wasn't going to get the attention that I felt it warranted, especially for these guys that were doing this work. And I didn't want to give these guys, this interview and only 500 people read it. See what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I've been kind of sitting in the background waiting for kind of a Tekken resurgence, so to speak. And then maybe, I could do some more. And it's not that I've stopped. I've just sort of paused.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No,
I'd
that
like
makes
to do
sense. I
more.
mean, sometimes there's low periods
Yes.
for games or projects. So I was gonna ask, with all these interviews then that you've done, do you happen to have a favorite video or a favorite interview or a guy that you most particularly find interesting?
Um, I don't, I don't know. I found them all interesting. And if you look, you'll actually see that I've intentionally, well, every interview is tailored to the individual, and I try to be as objective as possible. But if you look, there's actually little pieces to a much bigger puzzle thrown in there. So little mystery, little something for anybody who wants to go and try and find it. But I think the interview I enjoyed doing the most was Master, because this is a guy who he hasn't done anything in a while, and I thought it would be a really nice change to let him kind of speak his mind, because he was like 18, I think, when he first started, or 17 when he first started doing combo vids, and he did them for years, back when only a few people did them, and him and his buddy Boscon just kind of set the bar manually. I mean, they only ever used pad, and they were doing stuff that was just amazing, and then they just kind of like that dropped off the face of the earth. So I thought it would be really neat for Master to kind of come back and speak his mind about something that he helped create, because I do know for a fact that he does occasionally follow combo videos. So if you read his interview, he's got some really good advice. It's brutal and it's honest, but it's good. It's good advice, ultimately.
Gotcha. So he also fall under the most like interesting combo artist that you've run into?
He's a very interesting guy. Let me put it that way. He's a very interesting guy.
Gotcha. Now, so we're talking about all these different combo artists and everything. Are there any particular like collaborations that either you enjoy or that you think would be really interesting, or even more specific to you, any collaborations that you might be doing or would love to do in the future?
Well, aside from my team projects that I've done in the past, which I've always enjoyed doing, I did a collaboration in Tekken 6 with Gooch from KYSG, and that was a lot of fun. Gooch is a good friend of mine and a phenomenal artist, and so when him and I got together and kind of threw out a Ling Lei Wulong vid, that was a lot of fun. In fact, I think that's still the one I have playing on my homepage on my YouTube channel. But that was a lot of fun. As far as dream collaborations, I'm open for most anybody, so it's all good. They're just, the inspiration has to be there, preferably some kind of a concept. I don't want to just throw a bunch of random combos and say, here you go.
Yeah.
That's not typically my style per se. But as far as any collaborations go, that's kind of what the community projects are for all of us to kind of get together and do our thing.
Well, now explain that a little bit, like how the community project works. And I know you guys are doing the Tag 2 one, or like you're in the process of doing it. So how does something like that work? Like, how does it even come together, and how do you typically communicate with
them? Let's see. Well, the very first one started in, I want to say 2005. It's been a long time. It might have been 2006. A guy by the name of Tommy McGinnis, you might know him as Tekken Master Tom, or TMT as he now calls himself, threw out this weird idea about just Tekken players coming together for the community and making a video strictly for the community. And Master actually volunteered to direct it. And I had never done a combo video yet. I'd been wanting to, and I'd been following the scene. I just hadn't sat my ass down to do it yet. And I signed up for it, and that ended up being the very first one I started doing, which I will always hold in high regard. I think that video will stand the test of time for being a breakthrough. We at the time used Tekken Zaibatsu as our platform for communication. I know there was a lot of discussion behind the lines in different, at the time it was like AOL chat rooms and things like that. But we actually started file sharing through a guy by the name of Maximilian, pretty high profile player at the time. He let us borrow his file transfer protocol for all of us to send our stuff to Master, and then Master would just kind of pick and choose whatever he wanted and edit it and threw it together and made what would be the very first Tekken community projects. So, and fast forward, oh man, has it been that long already?
Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, here we are in Tekken Tag 2, and a guy, Super Ogre Killer, decided, he wanted to do one, and so he made an announcement on YouTube, and then he got some pretty positive remarks and comments and feedback on that. So we ended up going back to Tekken Zaibatsu and using that as our main platform for communication. And I think you mentioned that you would link something like that, or maybe you can, if you like, for people.
Oh yeah, I love giving people supplementary stuff. So
there you go.
Sure.
There and yeah, there's plenty to read there. The first post there's got a list of the participants. There's around 30 participants, I believe. There's quite a few of us. How many actually will contribute? Time will tell. We're still doing it. I'm done. I've already sent mine, and that actually is what kind of motivated me to start on this next Sin video, was doing the community project. And so little snippet there for you.
Gotcha. I'm glad you mentioned Maximilian. Big shout out to that guy, because he also had just in general, or I don't know if it's the same thing you're talking about, but he created an FTP server.
Yeah, FTP, file transfer protocol. Absolutely.
Yep, that everybody could just upload whatever. Like match videos, didn't matter. That's, for the longest time, that's actually where my combo video was. But because everybody was just
funny. See, I remember browsing it, and I'm just like, there's all kinds of stuff on here. And he actually made a secret folder for us. He posted it way back when, and I don't remember what he called it. He might have called it like Tekken CP or TZCP. I'm not sure, but he gave us our own specific folder, and it was really cool.
But he's just done a lot for the community. And he's I don't know if he still is in Korea right now, but a lot of people listening to this probably know him as LD Maxi.
Yes,
LB, on YouTube.
Yeah,
because he hasn't. Yeah, he hasn't posted anything in a long time, but at least for T6, he was like at the arcade every day, recording matches and
uploading matches and yes. Shout out to that guy. The guy was a top performer for the community.
Yeah, bringing us all that Korean hotness. But now, I don't even know who does. I think they have their own channel now, the Gosu.
And I
Korean,
think, I think Nico,
Green Arcade, I think, whatever. Yeah. But yeah, big shout outs to Maxi. Like I said, a lot of people probably know him as LD Maxi, since he doesn't post much on the boards anymore. But.
And I bet, and I'm sure a lot of people listening to this probably didn't even know that he was involved in that kind of thing way back then.
Yep, he's been around for a long time, and I think he moved there for a job. I think.
He moved, I think, from Sweden to Korea for it was a few years, I think, and then I haven't heard hide nor hair of him in a long time. I hope he's okay.
Yeah, I'm sure life just caught up to him. That seems to be what happens.
I know the feeling all too well.
So, Well, let's see. I'm trying to think of other questions. Oh, I did want to ask just because we were talking about it prior to recording, but a lot of people, there's been a lot of discussion. It's off and on. It kind of pops up here and there where people get frazzled about it. But when it comes to like putting match videos and whatnot up on YouTube and then monetizing it, and there's also another layer to that as well. I mean, they can just get removed altogether, whether you're monetizing it or not. It's been a big, I want to say, kind of a controversial issue of sorts because lots of people consider like Let's Plays, for instance, to be more beneficial towards a game rather than detrimental. So why even go after it if you're a game publisher?
Yeah,
but
no kidding, huh? Free advertising.
Yeah, but then there's also the legal aspect for it, and damn it, I always forget his name. There's a guy over on SRK. He's usually a commentator for Level Up. He's a lawyer. He specifies in video game law, but he did a whole write-up on how it's a legal gray area right now whether or not match or video footage of games where it's like a match style where it always changes with each iteration that you play. It's not like a movie or whatever where it's always going to be the same exact thing every single time. So there's a big, obviously it's just a melting pot of nastiness, and you have people on both sides of the aisle. So I want to ask you, like, when it comes to not just match vids, but monetizing those videos, and how do you see that issue, and what's your opinion on that? And do you think it'll change? Like, how do you think it'll change going to the future?
As far as changing, and who knows? I don't know. Legal stuff, who knows? It can go either way. And if we get our hopes up for it going the way that it should go, it probably won't. It'll go like politics. It'll go the opposite way. So I really don't know as far as that legal gray area is. For now, I'm just happy that I can put my stuff up on YouTube. They seem to be a little less delete happy like they were. I've had some of my stuff deleted and things like that, muted and blocked. And it doesn't seem to be happening quite as much now, and I'm very okay with that. But as far as monetizing my stuff, no, I'm not going to monetize my stuff. Not because I am getting this many views or I don't want to get this many views or whatever. It actually has nothing to do with that. It's actually the artistic mindset that I have. Anytime you add money into anything, it eventually all becomes about the money. And, you start cutting costs and doing things cheaper, and you need your revenue. And I don't want to look at a Tekken combo video as a business prospect. I don't want to decide, I haven't gotten any extra money this last couple of months, I'm going to make a video. I feel that's dishonest from where I'm at. If I'm going to put something out, it's going to be genuine. At least you might not like it. You might not think it's original or whatever, but I'm not doing it for money. I'm doing it because I love the game and I think I have something to show you. Hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully you get something out of it. In the end, that's really all it is.
So interesting, because I'm curious to see what people say about that.
No, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't monetize your combo video.
Oh yeah, sure.
I probably shouldn't be saying this, but there are places on the internet where some combo gatherers gather. I'm not going to say where. I'm not going to say who. Fortunately, as far as I know, there are no Tekken ones that I know of, but they are people that for other games, and I'm a member of this particular site. I don't post much, but I am there, and I've seen them talk about how they just want to get paid, and that to me is just from an artistic point of view, it's just not the right attitude. So I think anybody can set up a camera or whatever, and this new game comes out, and you pick a character, you learn the moves, and here you go, bam, and then give it to Machinima, and voila, you get your monthly check. That's fantastic. But if you're gonna monetize your vids, go for it. If you're getting lots of views and you want to capitalize on it, that's cool, as long as, in my opinion, it's not compromising your artistic integrity. If it does, well, whatever, but I'm hoping it doesn't.
Interesting. Well, I'm glad that you mentioned the other quote unquote other games, because I know that Tekken isn't the only game that you've done combo videos for.
No.
So I do want to ask first, what all games have you dabbled with, and then I'm guessing that Tekken is your favorite to do vids for, but I don't want to presume anything. So that will
it's got the most opportunity. I think most people would agree with that. It's probably got the most opportunity for combo vids. Actually, if you want a little fun fact, the very first game I wanted to do a combo video for was Soul Calibur 2. Heihachi. Badass, but it ended up not panning out for whatever reason. But that was actually the first game I wanted to actually sit down and do a combo vid for.
Well, hey, they're releasing the HD version here pretty
I know,
soon. So.
I know. I think I mentioned to you my PSN got hacked. I need to get that fixed. I need to get my password reset so I can get back online. I've been putting it off, but. I probably won't do anything for Soul Calibur 2. I actually had one of my Soul Calibur buddies contact me and was like, "Hey, Soul Calibur 2." He also does combo videos for Soul Calibur, so I don't know. Maybe he'll do something, and that would be. He's really good at them, so I'm hoping he does something. But but back to your question. I actually typically just delve in 3D games. I used to play 2D games, but once Tekken 3 came out, I kind of lost my flavor for them because I had this new dimension, literally, in gaming. And so as far as other games go, I currently only have Tekken and Virtual Fighter 5 and Soul Calibur 4 and 5, which it's funny now that I think about it. You actually asked me about it on our Zafina podcast if I was getting Soul Calibur 5, and I originally wasn't going to, and my wife actually talked me into getting it.
Oh, nice!
Yes, I don't remember if I mentioned that on the podcast or not, but yeah, she.
Forever.
Huh? Yeah, it was a while ago, but yeah, she actually. I think I was burned out with Tekken at the time or something, and she was like, "Well, you should go get Soul Calibur 5, and maybe you can do videos for that." And I just remember reading that they said they toned down the juggling system, and my heart just kind of sank. Oh no, all the juggles were going to be too easy, and I was pleasantly surprised. So, but yeah, and then there's Virtual Fighter on there too, which is a different animal altogether, but very interesting game nonetheless.
Like nothing but just frames.
Oh yeah, it does. It does actually. Virtual Fighter has actually toned down their difficulty as well. There's still some in there, but some of the harder. I'm thinking of Akira. Jesus, that guy. Back like in Virtual Fighter 4, that guy was just a monster to try and do some of his higher damage juggles on a consistent basis. But they actually toned some of them down. I mean, he still got his just frame knee, which is pretty ridiculous to do, at least for me. I don't use him, so I don't really practice it much. But and yeah, there's still plenty of other just frame inputs, but it's just an entirely different beast altogether. Some of the rules that apply with Tekken do not, and Soul Calibur for that matter, do not apply to Virtual Fighter. It's fun exploring the game from an artistic point of view.
So are there any games that are going to be coming out here in the future that maybe you think look interesting, or that you would enjoy or think you would enjoy doing some combo stuff for? Oh, and along that that same subject, have you like messed with well, you said your PSN, Zach, but have you messed with Tekken Revolution at all, or do you think you might?
I have not messed with Revolution at all. No, I haven't been able to get online, and based on what I've seen so far, I will not be doing anything with it. If they put Wang out, I probably will at least mess with him. I would probably get it just for him, but just based on the limited character roster, I don't know. It's not. There's a couple of characters that I like to use, but for the most part, I don't know. It just doesn't. It's not really when you have a game like Tag, where the sky's the limit with your creative output, and then you go to a game like that, which it really does feel like DR to me, but with some little flashy looking critical. I don't know the game very well but to just thrown in there for effects. It just, yeah, that's nice, but yeah, if they put Wang in there, or maybe Zafina or some other cool character that I just can't live without doing a vid for, sure, I might mess with it, but as of right now, no, don't expect anything from me with that.
Yeah, I take it there's nothing else that has caught your eye.
I actually got Mortal Kombat 9 because I grew up on Mortal Kombat back when I was back in the arcade days, and I played it for a while, and I thought about doing some vids and stuff, but there was plenty of other people that were doing far better stuff. Tony T and Check, and I think Starwinder Beta did some stuff, and so I just kind of just played the game for fun, and that was that. So, but as of right now, I don't see any games in the foreseeable future that are coming out that I'm looking to explore yet. Hopefully, they'll do the Tekken Cross Street Fighter sometime in this decade, and we'll
yeah, the conspiracy theories are rolling around. A lot of people think TR is essentially just a beta for that game. So
it could be. Yeah. I know a lot of people were very disappointed with Bind. I know people hated Rage back in Tekken 6 and things like that. So I don't know. At this point, sometimes it feels like Namco's damned if they do or damned if they don't. They've slowly added on to the combo system and the game systems in general to get damage in all these different situations, and just a lot of players just apparently just don't like it, and they're trying to build up on it, and they'll take some away and they'll add different layers. They'll tweak the wall system and things like that.
Well, and this is just my opinion on it, and I've sort of made little comments here and there throughout the podcast, but I personally think that even though they've added more to it, I think that they've dumbed down the combo system a little bit since it's been since like Tag 1 and such. And the reason that I think that and I do want to be specific for those who are like, well, you have so many more moves and yada, yada, yada. And I think that's actually the problem. I think because you have, all these different moves, and in order to get max damage, you have to do a certain sequence of those moves. B&Bs look really similar. I mean, they don't vary too much. Whereas back in Tag 1 or even T5, there were 10, you could probably up to double-digit combinations of combos that would get you about the same amount of damage, but they would leave you in different situations. So I always thought it was more creative before Bound, but just my opinion on it.
Well, you're right about. I see what you're saying. Like with Tekken 5, you can, or even Tekken 4 for that matter, you could do certain situations where you could knock them higher up in the air, maybe to get them to that wall, or splat them, like with Jin was famous for that in Tekken 4, and trying to get that guaranteed Oki for better damage, or just knock them further away to run down, because maybe there's only a few seconds left in this. It puts you at higher life, and you can help run down the clock. Whatever. But it's actually the same with bind, but in my opinion, because you can still do all of that. Go for damage, go for wall carry, go for Oki options and things like that. You're just adding a bind. The bind in of itself on the surface adds options, but as we all know through from playing, when you add a bind, certain moves won't hit either. So now fast forward to tag, and now we've got a bound status with a partner, and now we can, as soon as this partner starts this string, we can do something else and continue to do with whatever it was we were just talking about, splatting them for possible Oki, or knocking them far away so we can try to make them come to us, or knocking them really high up so we can try to run up and get as many hits on the wall. Take your pick. To me, the core element has always been there. It's just the number of hits. So, and you can, the hard combos were still in Tekken Tag 1, just as there were easy combos. Some players back in Tekken Tag 1 would do simple combos because it was guaranteed. And fast forward to now, from a technical input or a technical aspect, some players do very, very easy B&B combos because they can't mess it up. You can't. And other players will do more technical or more challenging combos, and then you've got guys that are just ridiculous, like Nin and Ni. So,
here's one thing I would like to see them experiment a little bit with. In T4 you have the wall push, and now the only person who has it now is Steve. But in T4, everyone had the generic wall push, and you could push them any direction of the cardinal directions.
That was kind of fun.
I thought that was really interesting. And one thing that I would like to see if they them mess with it a little bit. Now that they've removed bound, at least from TR, and who knows if they'll keep bound for the next actual Tekken, but like adding moves that specifically leave your opponent in a certain position or move them in a certain direction. Like once you launch somebody, it's either forward or backward. Like any lateral movement, or I don't even know how to describe it. From like the bird's eye angle, going north or south. Like they're very limited. Like if you have any movement along those lines, it's usually not very much. It's
I see where you're going. You're right.
It'd be cool.
You can actually change the direction. You can actually change the direction ahead or back, and actually add a little latitude with your combos. But it is situational, and it is typically not easy to do. You can actually sidestep during a tag assault and still get certain moves and so on.
Yeah, that's usually the answer. Most people will just sidestep at a certain point in the combo, and then that's how they get that movement. Right. But it'd be cool if they added like moves specifically for that purpose that would kind of jerk you that way or send you flying at a certain angle.
That's really not a bad idea. That would be pretty cool.
Just to add another a layer to the whole,
or a dimension, as the case may be.
Yeah, there you go, to the whole wall thing. Because personally, I don't like walls, but if you're going to have them in there, it'd be a lot cooler to actually be able to move your opponent places. But
and that could actually be a lot of fun, doing a move that, say, you tap up and bolt punches, and during this move they'll sidestep to the left and knock them, to your right, or you go down and bolt punches while the opponent's airborne, and they'll sidestep to the right, knock them to the left. That way, maybe you can engineer them to a wall. They'll probably be off access. Nevertheless, that would be interesting. Namco, if you're listening, this is good stuff.
There you go. So, for really, that was actually just mindless filler on my part. I have
no, that's a great idea.
I've exhausted all the questions I had for you, so I do want to just kind of throw the open mic over to you. Was there anything involving combo vids that we didn't discuss that you think is important, or? that you like for people to talk about more, maybe, or
Oh, let's see.
focus on?
How's it there? Did we talked about stuff I don't like, and did we talk about stuff I don't like in combo vids?
A little bit. We mostly just talked about the creativity, being original. I don't think we mentioned anything other than that.
Oh, there's certain things that I don't like to put in my own combo vids, and I'll give you some specific examples. And while I personally don't like seeing them in other people's combo vids, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad video. It's just that it's just my own personal taste. It's just not my thing. But you mentioned when you did combo videos and stuff, I think you mentioned you used slow motion. I don't like slow motion at all. To me, it destroys the replay value. I understand why some people do it to emphasize maybe a subtle movement or a perfectly timed hit. It's usually a perfectly timed hit, or showing something that previously was unthinkable is now thinkable. But to me, that's what the replay value is for. If they want to go, wait, what was that? They'll back it up or they'll watch it again. So to me, slow motion is a complete waste of time as far as the actual combos go. I know this is nitpicking, but generic titles, and by generic titles, insert character volume 1 or insert character act 1. Come on, guys. You go to YouTube and type in, whatever character you want and act 1, and you'll probably get 50 fucking hits. Try to come up with, if you're gonna try to come up with some sort of a style. If you're gonna do more than one combo video in your life, try to come up with something entertaining that pertains to you or the concept or whatever it is. That's my own particular. I always try to come up with some, at least in my opinion, clever or witty title, but that's a matter of opinion. Something else that I'm not always a big fan of is videos with almost nothing but showcasing the wall. Don't get me wrong, I like walls. Walls are great. You can do the sky's the limit, so to speak, with them, but show us some non-wall stuff too. Try to even it out a little bit, because when you have 45 combos in a 5-minute vid and they're all wall combos, I don't know. Give us something else. Throw us a different bone once in a while. People who use dark stages, it doesn't always translate well on YouTube. I prefer lighter stages so I can see what's going on. I hate when I see a dark stage and I'm not familiar with the character and I go, what move is that? I can't see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So other than that, don't make your intros too long. Don't make your outros too long. Keep them more or less to the point. Because in my opinion, it destroys replay value. That's just me though. That's
So when you're looking at combo videos, you like to see something that people come back for, that they'll just keep coming back to watch.
If somebody enjoys the video, no matter what, they'll probably come back to it. However many times they, over the course of however long. It's just my own particular point of view. I don't like seeing certain things, and therefore I'm not going to put those in my videos if I can help it. Sometimes it can't be helped, but most of the time, I try to balance out non-wall and wall. I try to use light stages. I try to keep my intros relatively short based on the duration of the total length of the vid and things like that. I try to come up with an interesting or aptly named title, some stuff like that. So, but if somebody comes up with, whatever, Act 1, and it's still a brilliant piece of work, I'll still say, hey, great job, or whatever.
Was that the only thing then that?
Oh, wasn't that enough?
No, I'm just saying, like, was that? I mean, did you have anything else that
Oh,
that you want to discuss that we didn't get to?
um, I have a question for you.
Sure.
And what kind of feedback did you get on your combo videos back in the day? I'm just curious.
Well, it was one of those things where, is an FTP server thing, so there's not a lot. It
I
wasn't.
understand. I understand,
Yeah,
but
we
I'm
weren't.
sure
We weren't in
that
the YouTube age,
I know.
So that
Hey, hey,
was-
hey, this might surprise you, but I get a lot of my feedback not on Tekken Zaibatsu and not on YouTube. I'll get it, like on Facebook or on text messaging or whatever. I actually get probably more feedback that way than I do on YouTube or Tekken Zaibatsu. So,
and I remember making my videos. They were because I had a VHS. You had to wire it through the VHS, and then record the tape, and then there was an adapter. I can't even remember
I've
if it was
heard of
USB or what it was.
those trials and tribulations you guys had to go through to.
It was pretty silly. I didn't want to do another one. I was like, oh, that's the only one. I only made
That sounds
one.
like an awful
Um,
work.
I think, yeah, there's only one for Law, in T5. And I mean, it was received pretty well. But I mentioned the whole music video sort of aspect or feel of it. That's why I made it, or what I did with it. So I think a lot of people liked the music and how it went with the combos
What
rather
was
than
the
just the
song?
combos. It was Tech Nine Absolute Power, and I did some slow motion effects and yada yada yada, and to try to fit it with certain parts of the song.
And
But
see,
this is
that's something that I do. That's something we have in common. I do try to edit my combos in with certain parts of the song or whatever, certain hits to go with the clashing of a cymbal or the changing of a music or something, like to try and make it a little bit more of an experience, not just, ultimately the combos are doing the talking, but maybe you're seeing an artistic side as well. That's also part of the goal. My editing is relatively simple, and I don't even want to try to do anything over the top. That's just not my style. But I actually do put a lot of thought into the editing of the music and things like that. For those who can hear it or see it or want to look for it, trust me, it's there. And it sounds like you did it too, and I think that's badass.
yeah, it's funny because the reason that I even wanted to make that video in the first place, because I had watched a couple other combo videos that were in that style. They used a background song and just kind of uh, put some pretty cool combos and just kind of edited it all up, and it was really nice. And of course, Castell. The one that always sticks out in my head is the one that was with Jin, or maybe it was all the Mishimos. I can't remember, but it was
Demon's Darkness.
yeah, it might be, but it's T4, and it was who the hell? What's the song? God, I just spaced it. Like I know what it's.
Yeah, that sounds like his Demon's Darkness vid. He did one for Tekken 4 and one for Tekken 5, and
Yeah,
they were badass.
yeah, and I think that's what kind of sparked the whole thing. But when I was younger, like God, middle school, early high school, in like the really really early Napster days, when they started doing like videos you could download and whatnot, and
Oh,
for whatever reason there was this huge like scene of people who did like DBZ like splicing in music videos. Like they would just take scenes from Dragon Ball Z
right.
and then they would edit them up with a background song. So you'd have a music video, but the music video was of DBZ clips. And I did a bunch of those because I thought they were really, really fun and they were really cool and neat. And then when I watched Castell's combo videos, like I remembered when I used to do that, and I was like, "Oh man, that'd be really fun to do that again." So I was like, "Well, I don't want to do DBZ; that's kind of played out." So I'm like, "Well, I'll do a
Yeah,
long one then, I guess." But
good old DBZ.
yeah, man, that was a long time
That
ago.
was a long
Good old,
time ago.
good old Napster, good old that breaking laws and everything.
Uh huh.
So But
Oh,
yeah, that's but the feedback I got, is mostly like, hey man, I play Law 2. This is a neat video. Love the song. And then they move on. Like, oh, cool.
did you get any negative feedback? That's actually where I was going with this. Did you get
Um,
anybody that didn't like it? And if they didn't like it, did they let you know what was wrong with it or what they didn't enjoy or what you could have done better?
if I got any negative feedback, I don't remember it. It didn't make an impression on me, but I mean, to be fair, neither did any good feedback. So I don't. It could certainly might have happened, but it's been so long ago, I don't even remember. I don't think so. I don't even think enough people watched it for me to get negative feedback. But you know,
Okay. Well, the reason I ask is something that I have observed in today's community to some extent. It seems like negative feedback is shunned, and I don't I don't get that. If someone has a legitimate gripe with, for whatever reason, maybe somebody knows the character really good and knows some stuff that maybe whoever was doing this presentation might have didn't know or didn't do better, or maybe they just didn't like the music, or take your pick. They used a bunch of dark stages. I don't know, whatever, and they mention it. A lot people tend to get bordering on hostile in some cases, and that's not something I really am fond of. People should be able to express their opinions, good or bad, provided, in my opinion, as long as they're honest and preferably unbiased, at least as unbiased as possible. Because if you're taking the time to watch somebody's presentation, you did it for a reason, and hopefully if you're going to sit there and say, well, this is what I didn't like, it's with the intent for them to take something away from that, not all of your buddies decide you want to sit there and call this guy a douchebag because he said your intro was too long.
Yeah, that unfortunately that's the Facebook, YouTube age that we live in. Rather than actually articulating your feedback, it's, man, this is ass. And
Yeah.
that's it. And end of feedback.
There you go. Exactly.
But yeah, no. Fortunately, at least now, the people who listen to these podcasts and whatnot, for the most part, haven't really gotten a lot of feedback like that. I mean, I have gotten some negative feedback for some of the episodes and whatnot, but at least the Tekken scene seems to be pretty intelligent when it comes to that. And they can vocalize and verbalize their feedback pretty well. So, which is good because as you mentioned, it's good for the person who's making that. They know what they need to fix or what people don't like, and you can kind of cater a little bit while still at the same time,
not too much.
Yeah, while still at the same time making something that you want. So,
well said. I couldn't have said it better myself.
So with that, sir, I mean that's all I got. I am exhausted of questions. So I mean, I'll again open mic if there's anything that you want to say. I don't know if you did the shout outs for the T6 podcast. I don't know if your shout outs have changed since then, but if wanted to throw any of that out there, by all means.
I suppose I'll close with this in mind. I mean, because we're talking about combo vids and all that. The community project trailer will hopefully be out in a month, maybe less. It might even be. It depends on when everybody gets their trailer combos sent. Mine's already sent, and it's actually being edited by one of the guys from KYSG. He's Gooch. He's proved himself time and time again. And I'm sure he will yet again with the trailer. He's not doing the full video. He's just doing the trailer. So that hopefully will get, for those of you that enjoy combo videos and community projects, will get the old salivary glands going. And the actual release for the community project is, of course, I can't tell you because I don't honestly know, but I would guess sometime anywhere between mid-September to early October. And for those of you saying, well, why so long? There are still people that are recording their combos, and like I said, there's around 30 participants, and getting 7 combos times 30 people. Do the math. It does take a while to do these kinds of things. So just give Ogre Killer some time. He's actually, this is actually his second community project he's directed and edited. So he's no newbie. He'll deliver the goods, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that that we're getting something this big here in the near future. It sounds like so, because combo vids and just video projects like that are always fun. They're always enjoyable.
They are fun. It's really nice to interact and say you were a part of, some of. I've gotten to work with some of my combo idols like Master and 538 from KYSG and those guys, and while we don't always interact with each other, many of us actually do interact behind the lines, and it's a very joyous event. It's very memorable, for at least for us. And when we present this to the community, it's with high hopes that it is understood what we're trying to do and well received, and and that you enjoy it.
Excellent. Well, that's all I got then. If you have all your shout outs and everything taken care of, thank you again for coming on to the podcast, and thank you everyone for listening. I'm going to throw up as many links as I can along with this episode, just so that you have somewhere to go. You can check out some of the guys that we're talking about here, as well as, of course, Sith Lord and his videos. Definitely search around on your own. Check these guys out and what they're doing. Combo videos are fun times. That's exactly what they're for. They're to be enjoyed. And they're just goofy, silly stuff that people like to do to kind of put on display the system that you're using in a competitive manner. So it's always fun to watch that stuff. So with that, thank you again, Sith Lord, for coming on. Thanks everyone for listening. And if you have any feedback for this, like I said at the beginning of the episode, I'm hoping that maybe I can do other episodes like this where we're sort of doing topics that we can discuss for a decent length of time, but aren't necessarily character specific, where you have to have tons of notes or anything like that. So if you guys have anything that you can think of that you'd like me to do, or anyone that you would like to come onto the podcast for a specific reason, of course, just let me know. I do, of course, read the feedback, so long as it's not on YouTube. I cannot stand YouTube comments, so I try to keep it on TZ or hit me up on Facebook. Pretty easy to get a hold of me in a lot of other ways than YouTube. So with that, that's all I got, guys. So thanks again for tuning in, and hopefully I'll get another character episode out here pretty quick, like I mentioned before. And yeah, that's all we got. So have a good one.